Officials facing new scrutiny over a newly declassified email from Susan Rice. Fox News is learning the former national security advisor sent it to herself just hours before President Trump's inauguration because the White House counsel instructed her to do so. The email details how former FBI Director Jim Comey suggested that former President Obama not share sensitive information relating to Russia with incoming National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. And Rice is being criticized over a resurfaced 2017 interview where she said this.
I know nothing about this. I was surprised to see reports from Chairman Nunes on that count today. He said that whatever he was referring to was a legal, lawful surveillance, and that it was potentially incidental collection.
Juan, what do you make of that? Because I don't imagine that Susan Rice didn't remember writing that email to herself on the last day of the White House.
Right. I think the point that she was trying to make is that she knew nothing about any investigation, any criminal probe, which is what it says in the memo, Dana. But, I think that at the moment what we're up against is that people are trying to look for something here, they're trying to, I think, get us all caught up in a hall of mirrors and conspiracy theories. Even President Trump can't say what President Obama or anyone did wrong. So, it's, to me, it's like, remember the Hillary Clinton emails where we went down that hall and everybody, oh, this is terrible. And then it turns out Hillary Clinton did nothing wrong. But here it's politically powerful. And I think that's why you see Republicans on the Hill trying to help the president. They've subpoenaed people now. They're saying they have subpoena powers. They will subpoena people. There will be testimony. But the reality is when you get down to it, what is it that this is about? I think it's a big flat nothing. That's what it is.
Okay, Jesse, why don't you take that? Because the Hall of Mirrors, I know, got your attention.
If you could just take what Juan said and just replace it with everything the right said for the last 3 years, you'd have the defense of Donald Trump, that this was nothing, that this was a conspiracy, and that it was all politics. And Juan's right, except he got the parties wrong. I mean, Susan Rice, I almost feel sorry for her because she's always left holding the bag, right? Remember Susan Rice was sent out to explain that Benghazi was just about a video protest? Like, here, Hillary, send out Rice to lie to America. And then what does she do? She gets caught in another lie because she was on TV calling Trump a traitor for 3 years. And then you find the transcripts under oath. And she said she saw no evidence of collusion. And now she's caught in a third lie. And she says, oh, yeah, I knew nothing about Michael Flynn. Because, Dana, whenever I do something by the book, I always wait a month later and then write myself an email reminding me how by the book I did that thing.
That's good. It's good to file that under Buy the Book. And Buy the Book, Greg, we also want people to buy your book, but we also want to talk about this.
Nice.
You see what I did there?
It's called the plus.
Greg, the Democrats say that this is just for President Trump to distract from the coronavirus. But wasn't the impeachment a distraction from the coronavirus?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, the distraction argument is merely just a distraction from the distraction from the distraction from the distraction. That's the hall of mirrors that we've been living for 3 years. I love the people that have been predicting this bombshell every night on other networks, the tick, tick, boom crowd. Now it's blown up in their face. You turn over a rock, you find another ugly bug. It is the most unfair coverage in history. You had MSNBC and CNN covering, in their minds, the greatest crime in the century. And then they find out, just like in a horror film, the call was coming from inside the house. It's a frame job. It's an inside job. And so they have to pretend that the 3 years of Hall of Mirrors never happened. So the government framed a guy, tried to ruin his life, and certain journalists don't care. But I will say this. I got to give kudos to some lefties, some progressives, Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald, Matt Taibbi. These guys are 100% progressive, as left as you can get, and they're doing amazing work on behalf of showing what this charade is. And I feel bad about the things that I've said about Tiabi and Glenn Greenwald for the last 20 years because I completely misjudged them, because they don't work on an ideology. They see this for what this is, and they're not embracing a team. They're embracing the truth. So hats off to you guys.
It's interesting. Victor David Hansen wrote a piece for the American Conservatives talking about how it used to be the left that would get outraged about government overreach like this, and that the tide has turned. Emily, I do want to ask you about this. There was breaking news this afternoon that the Supreme Court has denied the House Democrats' request for now on the documents from the Mueller investigation. The House Democrats have been asking this for over a year. Supreme Court says, no, not right now. You got to come and try to brief us by June 1st. But it doesn't sound like they're inclined to turn over this material. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a strong victory for this administration. I'd like to weigh in, actually, on, if I may, on Susan Rice and that meeting. If that email is to be believed, this email that was memorializing a meeting at the White House that took place weeks earlier, then the head of the FBI was concerned about a potential Russian asset or sharing of classified information based on an uptick of communications frequency. Not based on content, not based on probable cause classified information was being shared, not even based on reasonable belief. Do you realize how low of a standard that is, and why all Americans should be concerned if that is the standard? And keep in mind that at the time of that meeting, the UK embassy had sent a letter to that intelligence community and the incoming NSA, General Flynn himself, talking about the predicate that there was none, that the dossier was unverified, that Christopher Steele had zero credibility. And yet everyone sat in that room and for some reason continued the investigation by Peter Strzok. It was leaked to the media to ensure that it would continue going. And if there were true concerns by the intelligence community that the incoming NSA was somehow compromised, why wasn't the President of the United States briefed? There are a lot more questions, but I implore everyone, take away the names if you're political and question, is this okay?
And Emily, the reason there was an uptick is only one reason, because Donald Trump was elected. So you had a transition, and he was supposed to talk to his counterpart.